All right, welcome back to the Boozecast. Brad and I are here today at Valentine Distilling in fabulous Detroit with the founder of Valentine, Rifino Valentine. How you doing?
I'm fantastic.
Good. Thanks for coming on.
It's a pleasure.
Thanks for being here.
We're not really in the parking lot. That really is a truck in here. So this place is absolutely awesome. It is. There's eye candy everywhere. What's the story on this place? I'm wondering. I'm looking around. I'm looking up at all these 3-story towers making these fabulous fine distilled spirits, and I'm thinking, how do I do this? So how does that happen when you're just waking up one day and you go, here's what I'm going to do?
Well, it was really an idea about 12 or 13 years ago, and at the time I was living in New York and working on Wall Street, and I had a front courtside view or a bird's eye view of what was really going on with the U.S. economy and manufacturing. And, the reality then, and actually still is now, we have lost a lot of manufacturing jobs.
Right.
So under this, with this in the background, I happen to be on a little bit of a dirty martini kick.
Okay. All right. So
it's coming around to booze eventually.
Yeah, eventually, right.
We're drinking some dirty martinis.
It's not all economics, but every place I would go into, I would just say, give me your best dirty.
Okay.
And after a while, I realized I am being offered mass-produced and imported products that are being viewed as the best. And this really posed a problem with me in the sense that we used to make the best stuff in the world, bar none, in this country. Yep. That's what we all like talking about, how strong our economy is and what made us one of the greatest countries in the world.
Right.
It really started with manufacturing.
Yeah. It's the foundation, right? The foundation
Still
of the
is.
economy, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and quality manufacturing. So as I saw that companies were shipping jobs overseas, and even on top of that, the goal of companies kind of became, how much money can we make? Hey, we need to be responsible to our shareholders. That means maximizing our profits. So you get into this mass production, offshoring of jobs, and I just said, looking in the bottom of my martini glass one night.
So literally, the story is from the bottom of a glass, which is awesome.
And it really was one of those bar napkin ideas that still looked good the next morning.
Okay.
So the thought
and you didn't have to chew your arm off or anything. Right.
So the thought was, why can't we do this
in
the U.S.? Yeah, I mean, really. And then on top of that was, let's do this in Detroit, which was the former manufacturing capital of the world, and show that, hey, we still build things the best in this country.
We still make it the best here in this country. Yep.
Yeah, that's how it all started. So,
it's a great startup story. But, I mean, it doesn't all have to be an app. It doesn't all have to be digital. Sometimes we just want to drink our manufacturing produce.
Well, no, that's a great point. I mean, it's Mike and I talk about on another show, Big Digital Thinkers. That was a plug, by the way. We talk about startups, right? And we talk about Detroit. And but most of them are kind of in the digital media world, hence the name. But it doesn't have to be a digital startup. You guys are a startup, right? Even though you've grown significantly over the years, that's the cool part. A startup doesn't have to be, something digital or an app on a phone. It can be something very analog, like true manufacturing. And you are a startup, and you're a very small organization. You're nimble. So there's a lot of parallels there.
That's absolutely right. I mean, analog is a great description because what we've done and the way we've competed with these bigger companies is that we've gone back centuries in our manufacturing process.
Okay.
And you'll hear me say it a million times, but we just do things the way they were meant to be done. And oftentimes, most often, it's not the fastest, it's not the cheapest, but in my mind, it's the best.
So it's quality. It's a quality story versus quantity, right?
Craftsmanship.
Absolutely.
Back to craftsmanship.
And that's what this whole sub-series is all about. Is about that craft manufacturing. Again, craft manufacturing can be, it can be digital, but in this case, the whole craft distilling scene is quite something. And we talked about this a little bit earlier, but there is several craft distillers who've popped up here in Metro Detroit. But Valentine is like the grandfather of all of them, right? It's like the granddaddy of this resurgence of craft distilling here in Metro Detroit. So you've got to be proud about that. First of all, the awards all the banners that are hanging in your building. But that's a really cool story. So you've kind of not started a trend, but certainly people are emulating the success and the quality story.
Yeah, I mean, and we like to see that because part of the goal when we started was, hey, let's be a catalyst to show that we can still do this in this country, we can still do this in this state. So it's great to see other companies coming on board and really creating this new industry. It really all ties into, you know, people are really trying to get back, how do you say it, getting back to the basics. They want to know where their food comes from.
Yep,
They want to
yep,
know
absolutely.
Farm to table, right?
Yeah, and this is the same thing. I mean,
Yep.
we're buying our grains locally, we're sourcing all of our products locally, and it's also the sense that you know how something was made.
Right.
That corners weren't cut, additives weren't put in.
Right.
You know, it's
Right.
not.
You
Getting
didn't
a
truck it in
legitimate-
from an Elko farmer. or
Yeah,
anything like
yeah.
that.
It's not
Getting a
some nameless
legitimate
corporation.
product.
Yeah, sure.
It's not some nameless corporation. It's you literally over there making this stuff.
Yeah.
I've seen it happen. Yeah. So, but you can get it anywhere. I mean, just
Yeah.
because it's local here doesn't mean you can't get it anywhere else.
We all, you know,
How do you-
I like to say it's local because you happen to live here.
Right.
Or because we happen to be made here. But really, the goal from the beginning was to make products that don't compete locally, don't just compete locally, statewide, or nationwide, but actually compete internationally. And that's why some of these awards that we've won and
Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, we're going to spring one on you.
I mean, you won an award recently for the vodka, right? It was, what was it? It was like southeast Ferndale, north of 9 Mile, east of Woodward. Was that the geography where this vodka was considered the best? Or?
No, it was, and he's going to. I know Rifino well enough that he's going to be humble about it. But the best vodka.
Oh, it was Michigan.
It
No,
was
Michigan.
in the world.
Oh.
In the world. So so tell us about that. That's an amazing feat. So and it wasn't something that happened. You know, like Mike points out, it wasn't in downtown Ferndale on Tuesday's best vodka. It was
Right.
in the world. So it's remarkable. Tell us about that.
yeah, I mean, out of all, we've won a lot of awards, but out of all of them, this one is particularly special because to be named best of something in the world is pretty amazing. We set out with those goals to make liquor that competes internationally, but even this one kind of blew me away, so it's very, very special to us. But more importantly, it's rewarding for myself and all my employees, but more importantly, I think it gives people the confidence
Yeah.
that you go into a liquor store and you're like, hey, I really want to get the best, but you're kind of torn. Well, I want to buy something local and support local economy too.
Yep.
It's important for me that we can take that decision
Yep.
out of your hands.
We can get
you
local
do
and the
both.
best.
Yep.
Wow. So tell us a little bit about that. So vodka is, generally not a ton of flavor, but what makes you, tell us a little bit about your process. What makes you guys the best? I mean, there's got to be something in that craft distilling process that makes you the best.
The simple
Without
answer,
giving away any
Yeah.
secrets. Without giving away any secrets.
The simple answer is that we take care in every step of the process, from selecting the grains to the distillation to filtering. We even bottle this by hand. That's the simple answer. More complicated is the chemistry involved behind it. Some of the general things that allow us to win that award are we use a multi-grain vodka. Each different grain that you might start with, or potato, you could start with potato. We use 3 grains. But each grain is going to yield certain characteristics to it, certain traits. As far as one might be a better mouthfeel, one might be a better aroma. We settled on a 3-grain recipe, trying to maximize the stuff that we liked out of each grain and minimizing the stuff that we didn't like. That's one unique thing that we do. The second unique thing, it's only unique nowadays because nobody does it this way,
Right.
but the pot distillation techniques. These are centuries-old styles of distillation, but that's the way good spirits were meant to be done. For example, we use a copper pot still. Instead of production distilleries, we'll add copper sulfate into a stainless steel still. One of those shortcuts that I always talk about.
wow. That's a
Hey, we
rip-off.
can maximize our investor profits, a little bit if we add copper sulfate.
I don't want that in my booze.
So it's just one of the many areas where
Yeah.
we wanted to show, hey, we can still be profitable.
Yep.
we could still build a great company and still do it the right way.
That's really cool.
Can we taste something?
Sure. Well,
So what do we got? So tell us what we're going to sample here. This is this is the part. By the way, some people might think this is a little bit self-indulgent of Mike and I to have a show about drinking booze.
And they'd be right.
They would be right, and some might say that this is pure folly,
And they would be
they'd
right.
about
Yep,
that too.
Yep.
So tell us about this. Is this the world's best vodka that we're about to taste?
we're about to sample the world's best vodka. This is our flagship.
Wow.
And we appreciate that you're drinking with us, by the way. So
Of course. You don't get into this industry unless you're ready to sample a little bit. So
tell us a little bit about what we can expect. What are some? You talked about the mouthfeel and maybe some flavor and aroma profile. So tell us what we can expect as we're.
So you sample spirits much like you do a wine, and the first thing we're gonna notice is the nose. And the nose, vodka by definition is flavorless, colorless, and odorless. Yet we are going to be able to pick up traits in there. The first thing is a warm aroma, so it's not astringent.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Right.
Because there's some nasty ones. Not that I've had pop off before in college.
It
or
smells
last
really
week.
good.
A typical vodka, even a high-end vodka, will have that astringency, and this we
is
call it a
beautiful.
warm aroma.
Yeah.
Then, as you sample it, you will pick up notes of, people pick up different things, but caramel, a little butterscotch, a little meringue, some people describe it as. And then you should get a nice mouthfeel and a nice smooth finish as well.
Wow. You're right. That is phenomenal.
So, I
mean,
spend a
there's
lot of
vodka
time.
and there's that.
Yeah, it's not like just
Wow.
just pure alcohol. There's no burn.
Right.
There's none of that burn. I
No,
mean, you can
not at
you know
all.
it's there. Wow.
So
That tastes. Is there like vanilla in there? Is that what I'm?
there's nothing is added. That's
I know, but I
pure
mean, it's
distillate. But yes, vanilla.
It's a natural
some people,
taste of like
Some
vanilla.
people say
or-
meringue, like I
Okay,
say, and
meringue.
butterscotch. But yeah,
I don't
vanilla.
know what I'm talking about. That's probably half the problem.
But I like, people to taste. We're tasting it room temperature. It hasn't been chilled, and that's the way you should. You're going to get the most character
Yeah.
out of it. But I have a lot of converts where people are only brown spirit drinkers,
Right.
and they're like, "Oh, vodka's all the same."
You got to put something
And
in it
it's
to make
actually,
it taste good, right?
Yeah, and that's not
I'm a
further
brown,
from
I'm
the
a brown
truth.
spirit drinker,
Yeah.
and normally I would say that, but that is phenomenal. That
Yeah,
is like
there-
that's a sipping vodka.
There are intricacies to it. There
Yeah.
are little character taste.
Like
Right.
little subtleties.
Yeah.
The mouthfeel also, it's a buttery almost. It just
Yeah.
and it's a thicker mouthfeel than just like a pure alcohol burn going down. It's not like that at all. So that's
Yeah.
it's amazing. You
It's
can see
very
how,
very smooth. Yeah, that's crazy.
So so that's the first shot. We're going to do 9 shots when you guys aren't watching. So by the
Great
way, you
bottle,
should,
too. Signed by Rifino Valentine.
So what else do we have? So this is the vodka. This is one. Now, by the way, where was this? So it was global, but where was the actual contest? Is that what
Competition was in based out of London, the World Vodka Awards.
Wow,
Wow.
So
First place.
yeah,
that's amazing.
awesome.
That's awesome.
we're proud.
Go D.
Yeah, that's right. So tell us what we're going to do next. So I can't see the label from here, but I know it's a little bit of a surprise. This is a brown spirit, but it's a brown spirit from what I understand. It's actually what normally would be a clear spirit, gin.
Typically clear. This is kind of a throwback. So this is a really, really old type of spirit. Again, we're interested in history, and we like the history that some spirits have. So this is not made by very many distilleries, but it's an old style before stainless steel and things were stored in oak barrels. So this is actually a barrel-aged gin.
Oh, cool.
This is our Liberator. We call it an Old Tom gin. Is that your vodka? Is that a clean
No,
one?
that's the clean one. That's the vodka.
I got my old guy out there.
So we start with our traditional Liberator gin, and then we age it in new American oak barrels for around a year.
Okay.
And so all the color is coming from the barrels, right? So it's not like I'm sure not that any person who's a distiller who might be trying to cut corners would add colors, which they probably do.
A lot of distilleries add color.
But
yeah.
the color that you see, it's a clear liquid as it comes out. But then when you barrel age it, it pulls the colors from the barrel.
Yeah, actually all spirits. So all the brown spirits, whiskeys, and scotches, they're all clear when they come off the still. The color is imparted from the oak aging. So this is we use a barrel very similar to what we age our bourbon and rye whiskey in, an American oak barrel, and it'll give it that color, and it also imparts
Oh my goodness.
a lot of caramel notes, almost some molasses. But so this is a gin, but it's almost a cross, a hybrid between a gin and like a
whiskey or something.
Yeah.
Immediately I smell the botanicals.
Yeah,
that's beautiful. It smells like
It's very floral, very herbs. You can a little pepper in there.
it's a bouquet.
It's an elegant bouquet.
We use about 10 different botanicals. The first thing that you're picking up is probably the cinnamon.
And these
The
are real.
oak
These are
really-
real botanicals, right?
Yeah.
This isn't.
No oils or
This isn't like a
flavored.
box of dehydrated powdered botanical like stuff. There's no Velveeta in here, right? Okay.
I think you're like,
my,
like ramen noodles, the little powder that you put in there.
Yeah,
that's
right,
not done here.
exactly.
Wow.
Wow, that is amazing. This is.
So that's a real unique spirit, and it's a lot of fun for mixologists to mess around with this one.
Right. That's unbelievable tasting.
And this, gin usually doesn't. Some do, some don't, in my experience. But there's definitely a slightly sweeter profile, I think. And is that from some of the barreling that you're getting some of that sweetness out of
The
the barrel?
oak will bring that out. Yeah, there's no sugar added. Some old Toms will add sugar. We don't add sugar. It's just from the barrel and some of the botanicals.
There's no bite or anything to that. That's just like
this is
absolutely.
We bottle this over 90 proof too, so this is a nice.
This is a kick.
Very high quality.
So, by the way, we should also mention that Mike and I on the show are going to be doing some drinking. So, please drink responsibly. Use Lyft or Uber, cab. Have somebody drop you off. Don't drink and drive. But this is delicious.
Absolutely. So where can we get this? We get this at anywhere around town.
You know,
what
we're
if I'm in
actually-
California and do I got to drive to Detroit?
We're
to pick
actually-
this up? Because
yeah.
I would. I mean, this is
We actually
like
have
the
people
Cannonball
driving
Run
up from Ohio because we're not in Ohio. We're actually in 7 states, several countries. We're distributed in Europe and Ontario. In Michigan, we're virtually everywhere. I mean, Meijer, Kroger, Sam's Club, Costco. But I always like to go to your liquor,
Yep.
your
Your
nice
local
local guy.
Yep.
And one of our favorites is Woods Wholesale Wine.
Okay. Right.
So they're also here. And if you're out of state watching this, they will ship to, I think, virtually most states.
pretty much the whole country.
Yeah. Yep.
So
Yeah, and I live on the east side, so they're on the east side in Metro Detroit. They have a phenomenal selection. They're very knowledgeable, but they can also ship anywhere. So even if you're watching the show from anywhere in the U.S., they have an entire shipping department. They'll
Yep.
ship it to you. So
Paducah, Kentucky, check. You can get it.
So their
Yep.
website is right here on the screen.
It's
You
gonna
can-
be there, yep.
It'll
Right
be there
there,
eventually. It's
something.
not there right now,
Right
but
there,
right
yeah.
there. How's that?
A little bit lower.
Great. In this general vicinity. So you can virtually get it anywhere. So yeah, I think that's probably some of the perception issues that you guys have is because it's a craft distillery, you have to go to the source, or it's very limited distribution, but you guys are pretty much anywhere.
Yep.
So what's next?
So I think, we are sitting right now in our original production facility. This is only about 3,000 square feet.
Right.
Since we won these awards and the demand grew for our products, we outgrew this space and opened up the production facility.
Yep.
But right here up front is our cocktail lounge.
That's
and I
right.
think we should go up there and mix some cocktails.
I think that's a
great
It's a
idea.
phenomenal idea. In fact, I think we should take a poll. All in favor say aye.
All right, I'm in.
Aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Okay.
We couldn't do this show without the support of our sponsor, PhoneSaver, the portable charging device that won't have you hugging a wall to charge up. Insist that your favorite bar or restaurant carries PhoneSaver. Restaurants, you can count on loyal customers who will come back knowing that your place will keep them charged up and happy with your custom branded PhoneSaver.